Hi, it's Harriet Green here, and I'm thrilled to review for our international book club, Born Digital, A Distracted Generation by Bob Wigley, who joined us for a LinkedIn Live last week, where people from all over the world asked questions and affirmed, I think, the global importance of the issues that Bob raises.
I read that this started with the first lockdown in the UK. Why did you write it? And then what did you want to have happen having written it? So the how, the why, and the what.
So I'm going to take the second question first. So we're on day 2 of lockdown. I've never had an office at home, deliberately so that I didn't work at home and could give some time to the kids. So I was in the kitchen. My wife had decided me being in the kitchen was a bad idea. So she said, you need to find somewhere else to work. I took myself into the dining room, stared at the wall for 10 minutes and thought, if I'm going to be here for 3 months, I need a project. And I'd had this book in my head. So I thought, right, okay, well, lockdown is the ideal time to write a book. Now, how did I write it? Well, the first thing I did was I Googled the chapter headings that I was intending to put into the book. And then I completely panicked because what I discovered was that someone had written an entire book, or indeed several people in some cases had written an entire book on every single one of the chapters that I was about to write. So I thought, oh God, maybe I'm not going to say anything new. So then I decided I better read all these books. So I had to read 35 books in a month. And basically what I discovered was that 32 of them were not very good. 3 of them were great. And to cut a long story short, though, having read all 35, I reckoned I probably knew more about this subject than anybody in the world for at least 10 minutes. And I was absolutely clear that I had something new to say because all of the books were pretty analytical. A lot of them were very research-based. They were quite academic. They were, in most cases, as I said, not very interesting in a sense. And they didn't come to any conclusions or make any practical business suggestions about how to move forward. They just analyze the problem. And I wanted to write a book that was positive about Generation Z, put Generation Z's use of technology in context, and came up with some practical advice and solutions for the future. So I think that probably answers at least 2 of your questions. What did I want to happen? Well, we'll come to it, I guess, in a minute. But at the end of the book, I talk about what Gen Z could do to control its own use of digital technologies and be more canny about that use. I put in the book ideas for parents, how they could support their children in this exercise, for what educators could do, for what the big techs might do, the software design industry might do, and ultimately probably what governments have to do. So that, I think, probably addresses your 3 questions.
Bob spent the first 25 years of his career in banking, most recently as the chairman of Merrill Lynch in Europe, 10 years on the Bank of England through the financial crisis, backing youngsters then in the tech industry, chairing UK finance, which includes government and regulation and compliance, and he's also a part-time lecturer and philanthropist. As lockdown hit, Bob began to research the impact of technology on adolescents, talking to Generation Zers every day for a couple of years about whom he feels so very positively and strongly, leaving them a world emerging from a vortex of climate, health, technology, and deep inclusion changes that needs a lot of work, and immersing the adolescents in a world of the digisphere that often makes them feel they come up short to others who create perhaps an imaginary reality. I love the research, the data, and the solutions within the book, detailing actions that all of us can take: adolescents, parents, teachers, the social media companies, and governments. I also appreciate his very practical advice on many aspects of the digital society that we've created. For example, the governance of social media and search giants, whose boards' average age is around 62, are mostly male, very wealthy, with not a whiff of a leading child psychologist or media regulator giving inputs to improve content moderation, the critical identity and age verification on these very powerful adolescent defining platforms. He concluded, when asked, that the metasphere may exacerbate these issues of confused realities, causing even more depression, lack of confidence, and self-harming or sadly suicide. With humility, some humor, great depth and passion, Bob charts the key next steps and resolutions and is looking next to make a documentary on this critical and important subject with some of the very great and good in the world supporting him. I think it's a must-read book for our time. And thank you, Bob, for the work you're doing. Any profits from the book go to adolescent charities. Please enjoy. I did.